Hello guys and welcome to today's video, and for today we are going to be talking about Tropical Cyclone Gombe. Yes, yesterday I wasn't able to make a video of it because I was doing something for the Atlantic side of things, but here today we are going to be speaking about Gombe. And yeah, it may have weakened because it made landfall last night over portions of Mozambique, but there might still be a future for Gombe as we go out through time. And we will see that here on some of the models as we go out through this video. So anyways, here's the particulars. This is located at 15.2 south, 38.4 east. Maximum sustained winds are at 45 knots or 50 miles an hour. And minimal sensor pressure is 998 millibars. As you can see here, it's it's doing what tropical cyclones typically do when it meets land. It deteriorates pretty quickly as we go out through time. As you can see, this may not even be 45 knots. I might give my personal estimate here of like 35 knots maybe. That might be generous by 5 knots, but I'll give it the 35 knots for now. As you can see, it's raining itself out over Mozambique. I almost said Madagascar. It's of Mozambique here, and like I said, this may find its way back into the Mozambique channel here as we go out through the next couple of days. And speaking of which, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center here is not really too enthusiastic about it. Um, as you can see, right now it has it at 45 knots, and then it's just going to continue to deteriorate from here. And yes, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center does take it into the Mozambique Channel, but it does absolutely nothing with it. As a matter of fact, it weakens it even farther than what it typically is. And I do believe this to be false because there are the two main models, the GFS and the European, that are showing strengthening once it gets back into the Mozambique Channel, which we will take a look at in just a few moments. All right, so here is the marine surface plot. As you can see, it's pretty well inland now in Mozambique. It's just sitting there doing its thing, raining itself out for now, and I do expect this southward bend to happen here. Any 12 to 24 hours from now, it might start to bend a little bit to the southwest and then to the south eventually as we go out through time. Alright, so here is the GEFS tracking manifold MSLP, and as you can see, it's not moving very much at all in some of these plot lines here. As you can see, we're here at 989, which is pretty low for what it is right now. As you see, 1003, 1001, 1000, it strengthens slowly, very, very slowly. And as you can see, some of these plots do take it back into Madagascar as anywhere from a 990 to 980, 980 to 970, or even as far as 970 to 960. But these are only a couple of the plots, and most of these plots are trapped over here in the western Mozambique channel here. So we're just going to have to see what happens throughout the next couple of days, and I'll definitely keep you guys informed of that. Alright, so here is the GPS tracks and minimal MSLP, and right now you can see it's at 999 millibars, which is decent because as I said, this is the ATCF, or the Joint Typhoon Warning Center issues these for the system, and it's at 998 millibars, so it's pretty much on track here. And as you can see, does it southward, the southwest bend, and then goes back out into the Mozambique Bay, but not for very long here. As you can see, it doesn't really strengthen all that much. As you can see, a plot here of 999. So it starts at 999, ends at 999. So that's pretty interesting to see. All right, so here is the GFS here, and now we're going to take a look at the future of Tropical Cyclone Gombe. Gombe. I don't know how people will pronounce it. So here we are. We are at initialized at 12G here, and as you can see, 994 millibars. So it's a little bit higher than what it actually is right now. So we're going to go out through time. Here's 24 hours, and it kind of just disappears off the disappears off the map there. So 48 hours is really not looking too good right now. But as you can see, 84 hours out, it's back into the Mozambique channel here. So we're going to take a look at some soundings here for the system. 2 knots, and that's pretty good. But the relative humidity is kind of meh. It's at 62% relative humidity, and that's still enough for some strengthening, but not a whole lot. And so we're going to go out to 96 here. This is 996, so we're ramping up a little bit here in 9 knots, which is still good. And now the humidity, relative humidity, has gone up to 71%, which is pretty good considering the fact that it's been all that time over land, and now it's starting to get itself back together again. And 1,002 millibars, and here we are, 971 millibars. It just wants to not die. That's just how it is right now with Gombe. 7 knots of shear and 85% relative humidity. So, the GFS definitely is in favor with this system as it goes back into the Mozambique Bay. All right, so here's the European. This was initialized, at 12Z, and it's pretty much spot on with the millibar too, what it is. So we're going to go out to 24 hours, and as you can see, it kind of disappears. 48 hours. It's starting to creep its way back towards the coast. And then once we're back to about 72 hours, it gets back out into the waters here, 1,000 millibars. We're going to look at the reading. Um, 10 knots and 74% relative humidity is enough to cause some strengthening. And as you see, 96 hours. Let's see, 9% shear, that is, and 66% relative humidity. The relative humidity is kind of mad right here for this point of time for this. And then 120 hours out, 995. So it's starting to get its act together a little bit here with 7 knots of shear and 68% relative humidity. And also, I want to take a look back at the GFS here because I like to take a look at the total accumulated precip here, and I'm going to go do the same for the European too. So as you can see, um, over the next 24 hours, parts of Mozambique are going to pick up anywhere from 45 millimeters to like I would say 225 millimeters, which is still enough to cause some flash flooding in areas that have already gotten, banged with heavy rainfall from the system already. So, we're looking at an additional 5 or so days of rain here in some locations, and that's just going to make things even worse as they already are. Like I said, you guys probably got devastating wind damage, from the landfall yesterday. You probably had added the storm surge on top of that, and you guys just have a right nightmare out there right now. Um, you know, you gotta feel bad for the people in Mozambique and Madagascar too. If the system does, just so happens to make its way back into Madagascar, which I've probably said in Madagascar like 100 times already in the past 4 weeks. Um, you might have to watch this system too, because I already showed you guys plots from earlier. So just watch out again from the capital of Mozambique all the way back to Madagascar. So now what we're going to do now here is take a look at the European, precipitation amounts here. And let me get this up here. As you can see, we're going to go out to 120 hours. And as you can see here, it's pretty much looking like the same picture here as the GFS. And, like I said, a lot of these places have had, tons of rainfall already, on top of probably 5 more days worth of rainfall that can cause significant flash flooding. Um, you know, yeah, as the saying goes, "Turn around, don't drown." It's just the same applies anywhere across the world, not just in where the saying has originated here in the United States. It applies everywhere. If you see flooding on the roadways, just don't drive on it. It's as simple as that. I don't want you guys drowning in floodwaters. It's not worth it. You guys know, in the case of a tropical system, the water is the number one killer in the these tropical systems, whether it be from storm surge or flash flooding. It's not a joke here when it comes to total rainfall accumulations. And as you can see here, it's it's anywhere from 100 millimeters to 350 millimeters in some isolated spots here. So this is serious stuff that's going on here, and you guys really just need to pay attention to what is going on in your surrounding areas. That or just stay indoors. Period. That's the best advice I can give you guys. Because not only do I want you guys to be safe, I want you guys to be able to come back to me for more updates about future systems. I mean, hopefully there's no future systems this year, but it's still peak season over there, so you never know. Um, with that being said, just stay safe. All right, so here we are. We're going to take a look at the H Wharf here. And as you can see, it's pretty bullish. It has that 986 millibars, which is pretty steep for being in land that long, which, obviously it's not. And as you can see, 24 hours out, 998 millibars. It's starting to ramp down pretty quickly here. 48 hours, it's 1001. 72, and it's pretty much non-existent at that point. 96, it's not going back into the Mozambique channel, so H Wharf is the outlier here pretty much, with everybody else agreeing that it's going out back into the channel. I mean, it may go back into the channel. I mean, 1005 here, but as you can see, it's just way too weak to really do anything about it at this point in certain state in time. And as you can see, it just kind of just dissipates, without really doing much of anything in the Mozambique channel, which we hope this is the case, but something tells me that it's going to go back into the Mozambique channel. Just that feeling that I have, my sixth sense of this, tropical, weather that I don't really have with some systems, and I'm feeling that this will go back into the Mozambique channel. Because as you can see, most models are agreeing with that, even if H Wharf is not. All right, so the last thing we're going to look at here is the sea surface temperatures. And as you can see, we're just boiling everywhere here in the Indian Ocean here. Whether you're in the North Indian Ocean, South Indian Ocean, East West Indian Ocean, whatever. It's just all 29s and 30s, 31s, 32s. But where we're looking at here, we are looking at 29s and 30s, you know, down here in the Mozambique channel. As you can see, though, it's not going to be too far away from these dropping SSTs, though. So it's going to have to stay in a pretty local area here if it wants to take advantage of these 29s and 30s. Well, obviously 27s and 28s are pretty good too. But if it wants to take full effect of the Mozambique channel the second time, it's going to have to stay in those 29s and 30 range as we go out through time. And like I said, you know, I think there will be another peak with this system. It's just something that I'm feeling right now, and you know, I just hope that people stay safe. And if this does happen to have another third chance at life, like it did, after Madagascar, um, and then once again, you know, in the Mozambique channel, and once again in the Mozambique channel, we're just gonna really have to pay attention to this. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to end this video for right now. I want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, stay safe. I want to keep on giving these updates for you guys to come back to at a later date or tomorrow. Even. I'm going to have another update video for you guys tomorrow. Even. So with that being said, thank you and have a nice day.